But on the Shedeur stuff, when I give the stats, the advanced numbers, when you ask how I thought he played, and I'll say a few nice things, but I'll say a lot more negative right now at this stage. I'm being told that Shedeur deserves better, that he needs a more uplifting media. We should be out to uplift rookies and young players.
I don't think it's like that. I don't think that he needs that. I also firmly disagree. I don't want to step in it, but I firmly disagree with Jason last week. I'm like, you want him cut. Why do you want him cut? You want him cut because you're tired of seeing people say nasty things to you on the internet? Do you want him cut because it's hard to cover him? Do you want him cut because when you say you don't think he's a good quarterback, he's got a big fan base and they go after you for it? Is that why you want him cut? Because wanting a guy cut from a team is a very strong thing to say. Saying that we should move. Why? Why? You don't do anything for the media. You don't do anything for that. If you want him cut from the team, it should be because he's a detriment to the actual team. Now, I don't know all the story. Maybe we'll find out that he's a terrible teammate. I don't think we will. But if you found out a guy was a terrible teammate and not that good, that's a reason to cut the guy. Just because we're bickering amongst each other about a quarterback doesn't mean the guy should be cut. I thought it was a crazy thing for him to say, and I stand by it. And I'll say it to him to his face, and I've told him on the phone, and I'll tell him on the air again. I love Jason. I disagree firmly because I think we've lost our minds. Especially when it comes to him, I think we're nuts. I cannot state to you guys enough. I'm going to go on a bit of a soliloquy here. You can stop me if you want. Go right on ahead. Like some of the stuff I read over the weekend, I thought it was insane. Insane. I told you guys a million times over. Browns first. Browns first. Not Shedeur first. Browns first. If you guys want to call Shedeur fans a cult, go right on ahead. If you want to call anti-Shedeur fans some sort of a cult, fine. I just want to let you guys know I'm part of neither of them. He's the quarterback for the Browns, and as of right now, he's the best option that they have. To me, it's not Deshaun, and it ain't Dylan Gabriel. If you guys want to have conversations this coming off season about Mac Jones and about Malik Willis and about just about anybody else, there's a couple of guys absolutely I'm not interested in whatsoever, certainly. But if you guys want to have conversations about those guys, I am perfectly fine for it. It's Browns first. That doesn't mean anti-Shedeur. It means I want what's best for the football team. As of right now, he's the best option. He's shown me enough. If they ended up getting John Harbaugh and John Harbaugh goes, he's got to go, I would like a plan after that of what he wants to do. If John Harbaugh thought that Mac Jones is going to set the world on fire and we got to get Mac Jones, so be it. So be it. If we can find a way to get number one overall without having to give up the entire draft Mike Ditka style, so be it. But my God, some of you guys have lost your minds wanting to cut a guy. Well, the fans are mean to me. I don't give a damn how mean the fans are. I just want to give anybody a chance on the team. I've had guys who flat out hated me. One in particular. And I still wanted him to win. Browns first, Guardians first, Cavs first. It should always be that way. He plays for the Browns. That's where it is with me. Sorry, I'm off the soapbox now. Go right on ahead.
I don't really disagree with anything you just said.
Well, it's amazing because I just catch a bunch of hell from a bunch of people going, oh my God, Ken's been brainwashed. I go, no, you guys spend way too much time on the damn internet arguing with people who are probably bots or not even big Shedeur fans or just trolling.
Which can be fun.
I'm sure there are big fans out there, but for the love of God.
Which can be fun, and yeah, I might have put out that Indiana won with less 5 and 4 stars with Mendoza than Colorado did with Shedeur. I might have put that out this week.
Yeah, you're tweeting at one thing at 8 a.m. Saturday morning. I go, what's the point?
So I do think that this is where I part ways with Jason Lloyd, is that I do not think Shedeur is such a, quote, circus, or that, like, let's say, I'm just going to conjure up one scenario, and I know everybody in Cleveland's out on Dante Moore because he had a hellaciously bad game that everybody was watching. I remind people that's not, NFL evaluators don't do that. They're not just out on a guy because they were watching the same game you were. Like there's some people that believe he has more arm talent than, I actually think, not just some people, I think he has more arm talent than Mendoza.
Oh, okay.
But he's not ready. So is there a world where, hey, if the Browns evaluated Dante Moore, that they just fell in love with him, that they could draft him and start Shedeur week 1, believe it or not.
Why couldn't there be?
I think that could be a plan. It's risky, but I don't think what I thought before the year, which is, well, you can't have Shedeur on the same team as a rookie that you draft. That would cast a shadow. I don't believe that anymore because I've seen it. Shedeur seems entirely likable, like he could deal with that. I don't know if his fans could. I don't know if some people close to Shedeur could deal with that. Could deal with, and both, and vice versa.
Being a placeholder if they were to draft a Dante Moore or something?
Hey, I mean, Trey Lance in San Francisco was there, and he was supposed to be the next guy, and then they realized he couldn't play. And so, you never know how that, you can't totally forecast how that goes.
I'd much rather have Shedeur going into next year than Trey Lance on the record. Yeah. I mean, if we're being this way. But it doesn't have to be.
Like Shedeur, to me, has demonstrated not only can he actually play the position, that's the first step. Some guys don't prove that. Johnny Manziel, DTR, I don't think they prove that. I saw enough, despite how low he is statistically, even below those guys I just mentioned, he's demonstrated enough that he can compete for a job, and I don't think he'll be a massive distraction the way that Jason thinks.
And if I go away from this, just fine. Remind me as we go through this 4-month odyssey going ready for the draft. I question the Jets if they want to move out of that number 2 spot if you really want to go after Dante Moore. Why don't the Jets want him? They're as desperate a team as we are for a quarterback. They've shown it a couple of times here in their recent history here. I'm not saying that I love Shedeur no matter what over everybody. And anybody who does, again, I think that they're probably an online entity, and I don't think that they live in real life. Unless they're a family member of his. Then fine, go right on ahead. But I'm also not going to say, well, we got to have Ty Simpson in the back end of the first round. No, I don't believe Ty Simpson is going to be a franchise quarterback for us. And I don't want to make a bad situation that much worse because I'm arguing with people on the internet over Shedeur Sanders. That doesn't make my situation as a Browns fan better. All right, a couple things. One, Mike McDaniel scheduled the interview with the Browns this week, according to some. I thought it was today, but apparently it's this week. Also, Matt LaFleur, Pro Football Talk just put this out. Matt LaFleur, they are working on an extension.
Yeah, Schefter has this as well.
Okay, what do you got?
Says Schefter, Monday morning the Packers are expected to go to extension route. They're going to try to work out a deal to retain LaFleur in the coming days.
Shouldn't be too hard after the game.
Well, do you think it matters that they don't have your typical structure with ownership? They don't have an owner who is sitting there emotional about a lot. They have people in the building that are very emotional. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But those people don't answer to an owner.
No. Is it better?
I don't know.
It probably is, because if you have a consensus of people, I think they have a board, and then they have a president of the board, and all the other stuff that they do over there. But it's almost like a jury. You got to come to a consensus, so at least one person isn't acting outrageously there when they make a decision based on what they want to do with their football team. At least they have that. Now, I don't know how they get to voted to the board or any of that other stuff, but that's the way I would take it. You're not up to the whims of, if an owner gets mad, and it's his team, and he's going to make a decision based on that. Which, by the way, if we're talking about head coaches, there's also, and we are, John Harbaugh, according to Jonathan Jones, has been mentioned as a person who has mutual interest between he and the Browns. Now, in the article from Jonathan Jones, he also writes that the Giants and Atlanta are the top choices amongst the vacant jobs for John Harbaugh. According to Jonathan Jones, those sources added that the Tennessee Titans are in third place, while a third different source said that there is real and mutual interest between Harbaugh and the Cleveland Browns. If you get him in the room, do you pull out all the stops?
Well, what are the stops?
Andrew Berry is stop number one.
Well, I wanted to ask you that earlier because you said that.
That's what that has to be.
We're all going to say money, but we're not the only team that can just pay John Harbaugh, a lot of money. What is it that you think he wants? Do we even know if he wants full control? Do we even know any of that?
I don't know what he wants.
We assume that guys that get to a certain level.
But I think that fans are looking at it going, whatever he wants. If he wants to keep, I think they look at it and go, they want Andrew Berry fired, so they're hoping that John Harbaugh would come in here and goes, that guy's got to go. What if John Harbaugh wants Andrew Berry? I would imagine John Harbaugh is going to be in a spot. In Tennessee, do they have a general manager? They fire him too already.
Well, no, they just specified, I think a week ago, what their new orders of operation would be.
Who knows? It changes every
the
other
former
week.
Ohio University running back.
That owner never leaves her house, so you're not going to have anything there.
Yeah.
So
they have an actual scout now kind of running as the GM, and the vice president is Brinker.
And then they got rid of Fontenot down at Atlanta, but they have Matt Ryan as the director of football, not of operations. He's the director of president of football, which that's a lot to be a president of, the entire game. And then they just hired a guy down in Miami as their general manager. They just hired a new general manager over the weekend. I forget the guy's name. Or they were set to hire a new general manager over the weekend. I forget the guy's name. If John Harbaugh were to come here, I think that he lends instant credibility to everything you got going on. If you had John Harbaugh here and they had an introductory press conference and he was the head coach of the Browns, which is almost completely fantastical to think of, almost a complete and utter dream. But say they have it, and he's the head coach, and he keeps Andrew Berry. Do you think Browns fans feel better about Andrew Berry?
I said if you saw
I think the majority would feel at least a little bit better.
If you saw the two of them doing the press conference together, we have officially hired John Harbaugh, and Harbaugh's up there and says, I have, from afar, had the utmost respect for Andrew Berry and the operations that he runs here, and it is a dream come true to come to Cleveland and work with Andrew, who is ahead of the rest when it comes to analytics. I think fans would be like, all right.
I think in a lot of circumstances, I think you're right, because I think in a lot of different spots there would be fans, myself included. I got to be honest. You're watching body language. You're watching how long it takes him to answer a question. You're watching how long, like if they're asking, hey, Andrew's here with you. What do you think, Andrew? Any pause, anything like that, we're kind of keeping in the back of our mind for the future. I think that's the way we are as fans. That's the way I am, because there's not a lot to trust. But if it's John Harbaugh, I think you automatically say, well, if John Harbaugh didn't want him, he wouldn't be here. You have the pick of the litter. You have Las Vegas out there. They got the number one pick. Now, there's nothing there that ties John Harbaugh to Las Vegas. But you got the pick of the litter. You have a team that has the number one pick out there looking for a head coach. You chose Cleveland, so it must mean you like Andrew Berry. You're not just picking Cleveland because you're holding on to the last rung. If it were Mike McCarthy, you might wonder. If it were LaFleur or anybody, think of the big names. Sirianni, you might wonder. You may wonder. John Harbaugh, he's going to be 64 at kickoff next year. You said it yourself. Take it or leave it. This is what it is. I think a lot of fans can't believe Andrew Berry's still here after this last draft, which was good, but 5 previous drafts were either so-so or bad. They can't believe he's here. And so when they say stops, they believe that pulling out the stops would be, we're cleaning out the front office. We're cleaning out all of it. John Harbaugh is in charge of everything. He has the power. He has the final say. So it runs through John. And I think that's the way a lot of people perceive it.
Also, maybe Andrew Berry stays in the organization, but is, quote, elevated to a different role, and somebody comes with Harbaugh, or, I don't know, Glenn Cook gets promoted. I don't know. I don't know if there's any past relationship there. I do know there might be a Sashi Brown connection, between both organizations. Now, I don't know if Harbaugh likes Sashi. I know it was Sashi on the actual dismissal statement. It was Sashi Brown saying goodbye to Harbaugh, but people have said it was actually ownership that stunned the building.
I think, I just think that Sashi was, I don't think he cares and he just put his name on it.
That could be.
Yeah, to get heat off of, but the owner still makes the decision. So if they wanted to get heat off of Bisciotti, it probably isn't going to work if this thing goes downhill.
Well, that's some of the reporting, that he actually got a phone call, that Harbaugh got a phone call that he was dismissed. So that's pretty crazy that you could be there for 18 years, win a Super Bowl. And here in Cleveland, Kevin Stefanski came to the building, already knew. I mean, we've talked about whether it was mutual partner ways or whatever, but he came to the building, said goodbye to everybody, and Harbaugh didn't get that opportunity, according to the report. There's no real good way to do it. If there was a good way, if you're thinking about the best case scenario, then you're not doing it. So there's no real great way to do it. The best possible way is an amicable split or a mutual parting of ways. Well, it wasn't going to happen that way. So if you let go of John Harbaugh, it was bound to go down, and was bound to go down in an ugly fashion if that's the case. I probably would have tried to do it a little bit more diplomacy, but it ain't my football team. Now I have the possibility to hire John Harbaugh. I'm just asking, are there any stops for anybody? Are there any stop signs? Like, is there anybody anywhere on this franchise that's too far for you to say, okay, no, that's it. Like, that guy's got to stay for John Harbaugh to come here?
I don't think there is. And I also think if you were to introduce him, I think that the conversations about the ownership, I think that the arguing about the ownership are done. I think the arguing about whether or not they're an unserious franchise. You've heard a lot of that because usually a losing team is an unserious franchise. I'm sorry, their track record would show you. They're willing to do whatever it takes to find a guy that's going to help them. And that might be seen as desperate, but they're willing to do that.
I have no problems throwing money at it.
Yes. So they've thrown their money at a lot of problems there. That would show you a serious franchise. Are they serious by going out and getting John Harbaugh and letting him run the show? That would be serious. Plus, you have the history that's there and the things that they were willing to do to try to hot shot this into winning. I got to tell you guys, I don't see a legitimate downfall. I could see them not being very successful. I could see that. But I don't think that anybody's going to look back in 3 years, say that it's just you get mediocre results, the team's not that great, and John Harbaugh at 67 is like, you know what? We're done here. I don't think anybody looks back on it. There's always going to be some, but anybody looks back on it in real life and say, I told you so. About John Harbaugh. I think you're a team that's struggling for credibility with your own fans. I think it's a team that's struggling to find the route that they want to take towards success, finding the right route to take towards success. And I think Jim Harbaugh would be a Hail Mary, but he would also be a home run if you hit him. And I just don't understand, even if they didn't do well, what the drawback would be. Like, I just, unless he came in here and he was totally Mike Holmgren about it and just came in at 10 and left at 2 and that was the end. And I'm sorry, you're out there on the field every single Sunday. They show you a million times on TV. It's your face. If they were to blow out the front office for you, that means it's your responsibility. I just can't see him coming in here and doing a Frank Reich in Carolina, where it's just, I'm going to take this job. The owner's going to pay me a lot of money, and I'm going to hurt my own legacy by taking this job. I don't think that John Harbaugh would do it. So if you get a meeting with the guy, I say it's all open. I think everything's open.